Welcome back to the Fantasy Waiver Wire. This your boy Tubby. With me as always is Greg.
Hello.
And we are back for week 16, man. Week 16 semifinals.
Crazy.
Already here, man. Just 2 weeks left, man. This week and the next.
And only 3 in the NFL season till playoffs.
This is crazy right now, man. I can't even hold you, man. I can't believe that back-to-back years in the semifinals. This is crazy. You know how stressful fantasy football is to be almost close back-to-back years. It's a lot of stress, but hopefully it all pays off. But I'm in a hell of a fight this week. Playing against TDE Free. We got Florida Man going up against Team Big A Willie in the semifinals, and we also have our third place bracket that's shaping up as well too. Hopefully I don't end up there, but there's still some money on the line for that. And hey, if you're out of both of the playoffs, you still can win high score in our league for the next 2 weeks and still get a couple nice little paydays.
I don't even have a single matchup because I'm that bad. I'm not even in the battle for the worst. I'm in limbo.
You were on the bubble.
The one guy that didn't get into the playoffs, didn't get into the toilet bowl. So I'm just hovering like that last log in the toilet before you flush. And that's
man. You were let me switch this socket so it lines better up with my camera. It lines better with my camera right here. So I'm not always like you line up better. I always forget to switch that. But yeah, man. Man, week 16. What's going on? What's going on, Greg? Man, you ready? You ready for this spectator?
I'm gonna check. I'll be following it this weekend. I'm excited for the games this weekend, especially the college playoff. And then tonight, I'm playing in my own championship. I'm playing in the NCAA football 25 Dynasty League championship with we run a Dynasty League. We have about 10 of us in there. We play half in the Big Ten, half in the SEC, and I was lucky enough to get into the playoff as Oregon, number 2 team in the country, and I'm going up against the number 1 team in the country in Penn State. So another human, not a computer. So it'll be a lot of fun. We're playing that right after this. No one can watch it. Sorry.
Yeah, hey, you might as well live stream it. You never know. But man,
on Twitch, if you want to go do Professor Schultz, he's going to be live streaming it on Twitch. So it'll be fun.
And you'll be able to talk to your opponent on the headset?
You can. We do not. It gets too serious. So last one, it gets.
For the chip, you guys, come on. For it all?
Nope, too
Can't
serious.
Put it to the side for it all.
We mute everybody. We mute people that are watching. We mute everything, and it's just focus. We have one guy who takes it so serious, he turns off commentary. He didn't even want to hear the announcers say stuff.
Announcers?
Yeah, so it's just crowd noise. That's it. So yeah, it'll be a fun night.
That's intense, man.
Yeah, win or lose, I'll have fun. This is my second year in the finals. I lost to the same guy last year. So next year maybe there'll be some new blood in there, but we'll see. It's a lot of fun.
All right. Well, man, so yeah, we're gonna make sure you get to that game on time. We're just gonna do a little recap, not a recap, but a little preview of the semifinals. We have a game tonight, which I have I could have 2 players in. I could have 1 player in. I don't know, but it's Denver versus the Chargers.
Right.
And might as well just go ahead and bring up.
Yeah, it was flex too, because it was originally going to be Bengals Browns, but no one wants to see that. So
yeah, I didn't even know it got flexed that quick.
Yeah, I think they flexed it a while ago because I'm in a little pick'em league, and it was originally Thursday, and then they switched it now, but it's still the 3rd one in the list.
Gotcha.
Or the 1st one in the list of the picks, even though now it's a Sunday game. I was like, oh, okay. All right, let's see what you got there, man. Bro, you projected to win right now, but it's going to be a
oh man. Projections.
Yeah.
What are those? They just get your hopes up, man. Until I see that green line at 99% all the way over here, it means absolutely nothing. But yeah, man, semifinals. So going up against a hell of an opponent. These are one of the 2 backs that I didn't want to go up against, especially coming into the playoffs, because they're like 2 of the hottest backs in the league. 2 teams with a lot to play for.
Chase is playing well too, and you're going up against Cleveland. Look at the projections on all of them plus 20.
Oh yeah, man. This is
as well as your 2 backs. So
Yeah. Mine's is hit or miss, man. I mean, my guy may drop the ball before the goal line. It's no telling what type of game Chuba has. I
Yep.
got a lot of like, who knows what's going to happen. He has a lot more consistent guys. I mean, Mike Evans. I mean, what a time to have Mike Evans. Right now, and they're going
Yeah.
against Dallas, so it's always that little nudge. And he has three guys that have a lot to play for. You have Jared Goff.
Right.
They're still in the fight. You have Green Bay still in the fight, and you have Aaron Jones, still in the fight, man. These guys are trying to claim number one seed, so he has a lot going for him, man. Fryermuth is probably his only weak spot on his team. Yes, AJ Brown, and with that tiff, the way it's going last week, you got to expect AJ to get the ball a lot again. This week, you have Brian Robinson.
Well, speaking of Brian Robertson, he opened his mouth this week, said that the Commanders feel like they're a whole lot better than the Eagles. Good to go. And B-Rob, thanks for the bulletin board material, dude. So,
Yeah.
That could work out for you if the Eagles take that personally and go after him. But
yeah. When healthy, he's a monster, though, man. Really only one.
Yeah.
Only the Dallas game that he's really had a drop off this year. So he's got a lot of guys healthy at the right time, which only thing that matters going in here. I got lucky this week because I have Joku, who still not at practice. And with Dorian Thompson back, I don't even know how that relationship is going to be. So I would have been hesitant to start Joku this week anyway, just because Jameis is not starting.
Mm-hmm.
So that was iffy for me, man. DK just hasn't been the same since the knee injury. So it's like I got two formidable guys typically on the bench or just on the downswing. I mean, this would be the game to start Travis Etienne against the Raiders if I'm going to ever play him again for the rest of the year. He did out-touch Bigsby last week, but that doesn't mean a whole lot. I don't know why it's coming up. Let's see. Just looking at some of my options for this week, man. Yeah, man. He's gotten double digit the last couple weeks, but it's just too hard to trust him.
Mm-hmm.
Too hard to trust him. The only thing, like I said, only good thing going is he has the Raiders in Tennessee.
Yep.
And he has a young boy that's fighting for his job, so maybe he still may play hard going out. But other than that, he's going to be tough to start. But tonight I have a dilemma, man. So I picked up Ford.
Yes.
Luckily. Like, however my waiver was just enough to keep the Wolves away. And luckily, like somebody like you didn't pick him up with the number one waiver.
I'm not playing, so that's
yeah. But hey, but still would have. A lot of people still try to go for the high score, so they'll still pick up somebody.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? But I appreciate, if you're not really in the thick of it, why pick up prominent guys off the, just to win high score. But I would also get it that shit. It's still two high scores available going out for the year. Winning those back to back is still a nice comeback for the year.
Yeah.
Will put you shit in the green. So you still have something to play for. Joe didn't play last week and he was the lone. He still was high score, man. He killed it. But Ford, man, starting Ford this week. I think I'm just going to go ahead and go with it. I'm just so limited. What you think about this Ford play?
Well, the Cincinnati defense is so awful. I like Cincinnati. I live here in Ohio. I like them as a team. Their defense has let them down all year long. They have, one good player, Cam Taylor-Britt on it, plays corner. He can't play everywhere. And watching them against Tennessee last week, they just looked atrocious. So I think it's probably a safe play. But it's going to be a fun game because neither one has a lot to play for. It's Battle of Ohio stuff. They're rivals. So, but I think that's a good play. I don't see why that wouldn't be.
Then I have Drake London, man. Normally I would feel confident, but with Penix back there, even though I feel like I should be more confident because he's going to throw it more, a little younger, and he's shown. I mean, he's put a couple wide receivers in the league, with a Duze, so he's used to having top guys, and Drake is a top guy, man. It just sucks that it happens right now. This change, man, because look. I mean, when Drake has played, I mean, he's been money. He's been money every week.
Cousins going up against the Giants at home, that would have been a guaranteed.
Right.
I mean, but now it's an unknown.
It's an unknown, man, and it just sucks.
Giants don't even care anymore. That's the thing, that the Baltimore game, it just even looked like they were even trying. So it's still one of those things where, yeah, you got to consider starting him because the defense is so bad. If you're
Right.
going to give Penix any start at any time,
Any start at any time.
at Washington the next week, probably not as good. But yeah,
Right.
get him in there now
I agree.
against this Giants team, and they may still have a shot. And
Yeah.
Cousins has just been throwing picks left and right, so it's time. It is time.
It's crazy how the ride went for him. Start out, like gangbusters, man. The Falcons started out pretty hot in the league. They were like, what, 6-3?
Yeah.
And I think it was like over a 4-week span, no tutties and like 8 picks. So, man, and I think what hurts him at this point, Cousins, is not that he ever had that much mobility, but he has like none now. So when that pocket collapses, sometimes I think he just gets rid of it way too soon, forces a lot of uncharacteristic. Some of the picks are like bad picks. You're like, what?
Yeah.
But
he definitely has outgrown his usefulness, unfortunately. With no mobility, people know that. They know that. They can watch tape and go, hey, look, he can't move around anymore. We can just collapse the pocket at will.
Yeah.
And there's nothing he can do about it. So it's time for the young old guy to come in.
Yeah. We got a lot of young old guys in the league. So that is to your point. I think he's what, 24, Penix is?
Yeah.
A lot of these guys are like 24. Yeah. So even I just hope he has a Bo Nix type of play towards the end of his season. Him and Bo, both two old guys that came in the league. So, but he tore 2 ACLs in college. That'll set you back a lot.
Yep.
So yeah, man, this is I hate for it to happen right now. I just hate all these unknowns, man. McBride, maybe he gets a touchdown this week. I don't know. Finally
at Carolina, that's
so I got a good matchup here.
Yeah,
I got a really good matchup here. I mean, he has been a workhorse for me, man.
Yeah, he's solid.
Yeah, man. Hopefully he can get a touchdown this week. I don't even remember him playing at CSU. I didn't watch a lot of CSU games, but he played right here. Right up north where we were.
Right.
Right there at CSU. And I don't even remember him at all. So that's crazy. Anyway, who else do I have? Obviously, DJ Moore is always a iffy. But I think even if I had him or Allen, I still would be okay right now because both of them are doing okay. And even Keenan Allen's been having some better weeks.
You go back to the Thanksgiving Day game, and they shut him out in the first half, and then the Bears went off. And the Lions now, their defense is so banged up. They looked so bad against the Bills. This could really work out in your favor. Where
hope so, man.
Granted, they're playing in Chicago. The weather be windy a little bit, but still, they should be able to feast a little bit on that Lions defense. They just don't have anybody. I feel bad for them.
Oh, they losing them. Well, from an Eagles perspective, fantasy, yeah, and it's a lot of help, man. From the Eagles, I was like, whew, helps my Eagles out.
Yeah, it does help the Eagles out, but you don't want to win that way. You want to win it on the field. If they lose a game legit, I just hate that they've had so many injuries. Because if it were the Eagles, I'd be gutted if we were trotting out third and fourth stringers at this point of the season when every win matters. Now, that being said, Detroit can win a game with their offense. It just is they're probably going to give up some scores to the Bears.
Yeah. This Taylor, I think basically, long story short, man, I don't really see where I can go here. I don't know who I can sub out. I mean, Najee Harris against Baltimore. What you think about that?
What did he do the last time they met up? Okay, so he had 19 points.
But is he in the doghouse after that? Tomlin didn't put him in after that fumble.
No. Well,
Tomlin's old school, man.
They didn't have much of an opportunity after that fumble.
No doubt. But you see that next, they give the ball to Patterson.
Yeah.
That's when Patterson got in and Najee didn't touch the ball the rest of the game. That's concerning, man.
Yeah. I would. The thing is, too, with Baltimore, their pass defense is where they struggle more than their run defense.
Right.
So they're weak in that regard. So if you had like Pickens and he was healthy, then you definitely would want to start there. But Najee, I don't know. Taylor, he had a good game. It's just the drop at the end could have cost. I don't think he's going to do that again. Lightning's definitely not going to strike twice.
Yeah.
in that situation, and you got a decent matchup at home against a bad Tennessee team who likes to turn the ball over. So I think if Taylor's going to have a great game, I mean, he's had one, a couple of weeks ago at New England.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is a week that over Harris, I would probably start him. It's tough.
And Tennessee, of course, they're going to good old Mason Rudolph, who always plays well, man, in the pinch, man. So I think it's like a quarterback carousel right now in Tennessee. They just cannot find a quarterback, man. Last few drafts, they just cannot find a QB out there, man. But maybe Mason Rudolph was the answer all this time. You never know. I don't know. He's so streaky.
Yeah, no, he's no one's answer.
Right. Yeah.
So I think that that Indianapolis should have the ball quite a bit. I mean, you never know, but on paper, when you look at it, Indianapolis should have the ball quite a bit.
Which
means they're going to try to control the ground game with Richardson back there, who doesn't throw a lot. So you should be okay with that.
I think I'm going up probably against the best wide receiving core you can go up against right now. Chase, Evans, and AJ. That's a lot. I mean, all he's missing is Justin Jefferson. Who else you gonna put in there over these guys?
No, exactly. Yeah. and Jamar again at home should have a really good
man. So I'm up against it this week. I'm gonna need a little luck.
I think Dallas has been playing a lot better since they got some of their horses back. So with Deron Bland back in the game, granted they lost Overshown, but so that Mike Evans might find it a little bit hard to get a little bit of space.
Mm-hmm.
So they could Diggs back. So and then they got Micah's playing at full speed right now. I'm actually thinking if it wasn't for Cooper Rush and the offense the way it is, I'd think they'd be able to come into Philadelphia. I think they're going to put up a fight in a couple of weeks because their defense, other than Overshown going out, their defense is back healthy. Well, they don't have D-Law, but you know what I mean. They got mostly everybody back.
Yeah.
They're pretty.
Their core. They're back to playing a similar defense than what we're used to them seeing. Not like what the Eagles did to them and stuff like that. They had Micah back even against the Eagles, but it was his first game back.
Yeah,
no, Grant got out of hand on them.
Granted, their wins have come against Carolina and the Giants and Washington, and they got to go to the wire against Washington. So and I'm not saying Washington's a slouch. We've got them coming up, but they're not playing marquee teams and winning. So we really don't know what Dallas is. But I think that Buccaneer game should be something to watch going into that Eagles game, how well they're playing, because that's a good test for Dallas leading into that, because they're still going to try to play spoiler. They're going to try to keep us from getting that number one seed. Nothing would make the Cowboys players happy to keep the Eagles from getting the number one seed and us getting eliminated in the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, we got our plate full. We have Washington this week, and that's like I said, man. This is man. I would have much rather. I know Joe has a good team, but I would have rather played Joe this week than play this fucking squad. He has a really good team going into the playoffs, and that's you got the luxury of benching even Bo Nix right now, who's played solid. Last week, I think he was all over the place. Yeah. 3 tutties and 3 picks.
Last 2 weeks, he's not played up to snuff, but you kind of got to go with Goff right now, the way he's been playing lights out. Even in a windy Chicago, Goff has been playing lights out. So,
yeah, man.
Yeah,
73 last week. Jeez, 43. So, I got to hope that Josh Allen really shows his ass at home against New England. So, I got a good matchup there. I have a good matchup with Taylor. Chuba with Arizona. I have some solid matchups, man. It's just like these guys are the A1 dudes on their teams. And that's what sucks. That's what sucks.
For sure.
So, and then he picks up this Atlanta defense against the Giants, which could help him out as well.
Yeah.
What the hell the Giants been doing? So, whatever. We'll see what happens, man. I need some luck there. Florida, man, versus Big A Willie in the other semifinal matchup. Got Mahomes against Jackson.
Wow. Henry versus Bijan. Cook versus Mixon. I like Cook. I give the edge to Cook there, but still, it's a good matchup. CD versus McConkey.
McConkey has come on late this year.
I kind of like his receivers a little bit better if I wanted Florida, man. I'm going to be honest. McConkey's been playing good, but Dobbs against Higgins, Bowers, a tight end. I'd take him over Laporta. Laporta's a great tight end, but he has not been the Laporta of last year.
Yeah. he has more of a boom team. If it
Yes.
booms, it booms. But this is on the bust end,
Yeah.
kind of I don't want to talk shit, but you see what you get what I
Yeah.
mean. You
Yep.
have Lamar against Pittsburgh that struggles
Yep.
against Pittsburgh for some reason.
Yep.
You have Bijan going up against the Giants. That's a big deal.
That's a good one. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but Mixon going up
Mixon
against KC.
that's a tough
Tough,
matchup.
tough, man. You have
Yep.
depends on who's on lat tonight. If he's in the slot, he may be okay, but if he's on the outside,
Yeah.
Surtain's probably going to have him, and Surtain is one of the
I think
best.
the last time they played Denver was like more of a shootout than we thought because Denver been so good, and then the Chargers went off
How do you play against
the
Denver?
last time.
Yeah, not bad. 8 targets, 4 catches, 43 yards.
Yeah.
But he's been good, man. I have him in my other fantasy league,
Yeah.
and he's just been good for me, man.
But it's still a decent team, but I like Florida man top to bottom. You got Connor and Brown. Good night.
As the flex.
Yeah. Just loaded with running backs for crying out loud.
Loaded with backs. Yeah, Henry, Cook.
Yeah, and then you got Brown and Connor.
Yeah. Yeah, Puka
Bates, who came on late and has been kicking the hell out of the ball. So, yeah, top to bottom. Oh, and you got Green Bay going up against New Orleans. He's playing that streaming D. So that's a good matchup there.
Yeah,
New Orleans is
and then he's taking Pittsburgh's defense against Baltimore. That's I don't know about that, man. You don't play like that.
If Watt plays, which I think he might. I mean, that's they'll generate a few sacks, but you're playing against Lamar,
right?
So
that team can score. So, man, I don't know. I mean, I would probably go Jordan Love over Lamar. I know this sounds, but this is all about matchups. Jordan Love versus New Orleans with a hurt Alvin Kamara. So their offense is going to be slowed a little bit. I would probably take Love against New Orleans than Lamar against Pittsburgh.
I would second that.
Yeah. I know it's tough to sit Lamar. You feel like an asshole if he goes crazy.
It is one of those things, but yeah, it's a if you're going to win, it's a matchup deal. So yeah, it's tough.
Yeah. And he has Rodgers over the Rams, which start no Rodgers right now.
No. But he's going to leave him on the bench. He doesn't have to. That's a luxury.
You got D-Hop, Addison. Addison's been coming on well, man. I've had him a few times this year, as you can see. Add it, drop. But I'm good on wide receivers. Either my guys are going to do what they do, or it's nothing really.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, this is definitely leaning heavy in favor of Florida, man.
Yeah,
for sure,
big time. But
for sure, I would have.
We'll see what happens.
I would have much rather played Andrew on this one, and then for the third matchup, third seed. And then
that's for the consolation prize.
Right.
Playing for 5th place.
Mm-hmm. Crazy. Oh, this is 5th place.
Yeah.
5th. Oh, yeah, you're right.
You're only the final 4. The only rest.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. 5th place.
Yeah. Oh, and then so the winner of this, I guess, plays tighten up for 5th place.
And then the other one, the winner will go and play for 3rd place.
Right. And then that's 2.
Go for
whoever
one.
Drops down here. It's still a lot of
and I will just sit in 7th.
That's crazy, yo. You're like the ultimate spectator.
I don't even get a consolation prize. I just get 7th. I don't even have to fight for it.
Oh man.
Take it.
So does Rod win this, or does
it looks like your brother doesn't, if he's trying to win last place?
Like, I'm trying to think.
I mean, look at the projection. It's like, if he wins last place by losing, then he wins.
This was last week.
So
these are final. These are final. Like, this was last week. So I'm like, well, who wins? Because when I look up here,
that's it. Then that's last place. So yeah,
Stone Cold last place, man.
Yeah.
Ooh. I wasn't sure if like you won the toilet bowl, like you.
Yeah, I didn't play another. It just said, hey, 8, 9, and 10 play each other. I think I guess that makes me 8. I guess, yeah. So I'm 8. I'm solid 8.
Right. That's
take it away from me.
The bubble. I was just happy nothing came about the whole seeding and shit like that. I know it's some salty.
Nice 8.
I know it's some salty. I know if you too much sauce, and tighten up, you got to be. That's crushing. Go 10-4. I mean, crazy year and just best you can finish is 5th and 6th. That's like, wow. Oh, I know next year, man. I don't know anything, but I believe next year, somehow, some way, we're going to push it back to having the 2 buys, which I don't like. I don't like it.
Right.
I don't like it. I think this is way better. Maybe in the 12-man league, you go 2, but nah, man. I love it like this. You get those 6 teams in the playoffs fighting with 1 bye and like can really, 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 really. I like the format better, but hey, I'm not a dictator, man. I'll bring it to a vote next year. I just thought everybody's seen it before the year started, man. So
I noticed. We talked about it. So
yeah. So man, that's it's not a whole lot there, man. That's pretty much it, man. We have a hell of a matchup tonight. I really need Sutton to start it off for me on a good note. But here's the thing. I know if my Thursday night player goes crazy, the rest of my team doesn't play well. So I still want him to go off. Whatever. I'll sacrifice it. Whatever. Sutton, if you can go crazy, go crazy. I'm up against it this week. I would have rather played any team but this fucking team. I do, man. I'm telling you, man. Even though I beat him 2 weeks ago. I mean, I won this matchup just 2 weeks ago. But I think Aaron Jones had like his worst game. And that was a game where Aaron Jones scored at like the last play of the game or something, like just a super garbage touchdown. And then Jacobs just didn't really have just miracle shit. But
yeah,
he has a lot, man. But I ain't scared. I wish I had Godwin because I know how Mike Evans does in this offense, man. Without Godwin, he's everything.
Yep, that's it.
So
it depends on what he does against Dallas. At Dallas, home cooking. We'll see. But he's coming off a great game against the Chargers.
Yeah, man.
Defense is slipping.
So that's a little bit, I guess that's good for me because I'm going against the Chargers defense tonight with Sutton, man. Hey, no matter what happens, I'm gonna give him hell. I'm gonna give him hell. Motherfucker. So Eagles Washington matchup, man. We can talk about that before we get out here and get you to your game.
Yep. I'm excited. I'm just glad what the Eagles have done these last few weeks. I thought going into this game it'd be like a must win, and it kind of is because they win the division with a win. But they're playing for something so much bigger now. So it's like if this team continues to realize what to play for, then they keep that going throughout, into the playoffs, even if they get the first round bye. And you need that. You need the team to just keep rolling. So playing division opponents, I'm not a huge fan of it at the end of the season, only because there's such tough games, regardless of the record. And I know the NFL schedules everybody against their division for ratings and stuff like that, because you're going to have good matchups going into the final. But I think from a football standpoint, I'm not a huge fan of it because people can get hurt. Those games get very intense.
Right.
So this is the kind of game where, going on the road, I'm just glad they don't travel a lot. They get a lot of practice in, and they're playing a team they've already beat. So it's going to be a challenge, but bring it on.
Yeah, man, I'm really looking forward to it, man. I hope we can shut down the run game and old Robinson. But I don't know. This team is one of those like boom. I don't say boom or bust, but the players that they have when they're hot, they're really hot. When him and McLaurin gets on the same page, it looks ugly. It looks ugly, man. I think they lost Noah Brown, so that's probably like the only plus side. Kind of shrinks the field a little bit. So it's like, okay, can we put McLaurin and Quinyanamo Bay, and then just kind of deal with the rest,
Ertz is questionable. He's in the concussion protocol. So there's a chance that he may not, upgraded to limited Thursday. So he may clear, but may not.
Yeah, man, because he gave us problems, but later in the game.
At the end of the game, he had the touchdown and the 2-point conversion. So you definitely don't want him in there. But it is,
that was his last really, really good game. But then not the next week against Dallas, he still did. Yeah, it's solid, but he's trending down.
But if him and Brown are not available, then it tilts in one favor. But you always got to watch out for Scary Terry. He's always dangerous. But like if Q locks him down, then it could be a great game for the Eagles. Just got to keep Daniels contained and then win it with the Eagles offense doing whatever they do. I think that, I want to see a more balanced attack. And I
Yeah,
think they did
yeah,
it
me
with
too.
Pittsburgh, and I think that yeah, Saquon going out early in that game, it kind of gave Gainwell some carries. So
Yeah.
we probably will see more of a switch up. I think you're going to see him, especially because you want to keep Saquon healthy going into the playoffs. So I don't think they're so much worried about Saquon setting a record rather than they are getting some wins. And that's important. That's good.
Yeah.
So, they're already saying that after that Pittsburgh game, he's not got a chance at MVP. So whatever.
Which is crazy
Josh,
how much
everybody
running
knows.
backs get overlooked.
Yeah.
I think he would have to break the record, or at least get 2K.
Mhm.
And the Bills would have to slide heavily for him to not get it.
It's Josh Allen. It's Josh Allen. Unless Josh starts throwing picks left and right, it's going to be Josh Allen. So
yeah, right now it is poised. It is poised to be him right now too, man. But yeah, you just got to see how the rest of the season plays out. They still have a lot to play for, but
definitely.
will they lose to New England? No. No. Buffalo's not losing to New England, so
no.
I don't see anything really stopping that. But mainly it was just for like the NFL record. There's so many guys that get around that area, Eric Dickerson's record, and you're on pace to break it, and then just a little fluke injury just throws it all off. But he can also hit you for 200. We've seen that really, really easy. He can hit you for 200. Depends on how this game goes. We're definitely going to need him. I definitely want to see a better a better balanced attack. I thought we passed the ball almost like too intentional. We came out. It was just like so obvious what we were going to do. I didn't think that was a good game. I mean, it worked out. But you remember when they finally gave Saquon the ball, it's like, who didn't know Saquon was about to get the ball? Didn't you know? Remember Saquon just got stuffed? Like everybody in the stadium knew that at the rate we were passing the ball, this next ball was going to be a handoff to Saquon, and everybody knew it, and they just ate him up. So I was like, I don't like the balance, man. I don't like when we do anything. I don't like when we don't throw the ball to AJ. I also don't like when we don't run the ball with Saquon. We need something in between that looks like some flow. And unless the game plan was that. And I just want to say this one thing about AJ. That could have also blown up in the Eagles' face, right? You can't start a fire without a spark, right? Yep. So you have this spark, and if it doesn't work out, now what do you have going into this week? You have that fire just growing. So I kind of don't like rewarding. I don't want to say bad behavior. I'm trying to figure out like the way to.
Yeah,
because I understand in a win, particularly in a win, like you won, so you really shouldn't be salty. Like I'm just thinking mindset, right? So you won the game, which if that's the most important thing, you shouldn't really be moping at your fucking locker.
Right.
Even though those Eagles media are going to ask you inflammatory stuff every single week. In the moment that they see even a little crack in you, because they have nothing else better to do. They're not going to talk well about the team. Mm-hmm. It's like they make their whole lives on just putting down Philadelphia. They do it with the Phillies. They do it with the Sixers. And if I watch hockey, they probably do the shit with the Flyers. I don't know, though. So they're looking for, and you're sitting up at your locker with this bad posture to begin with. This is a win.
Mm-hmm.
So of course they're going to ask you, what's wrong? Or what do you think needs to change? That's a question you ask after a loss.
Right.
Right? That's typically 10-game winning streak. That's something you ask in the 3-game win. What do you think needs to change? Right? Those questions are poised for that outcome.
Right.
So the whole thing was just weird to me, man. And I don't like rewarding that type of behavior in that manner. I don't know. I just no one player should just say, give me the ball and, just dictate the offense like that. I don't know. I didn't really like it. And I'm glad it worked out because we could have had a dumpster fire
for sure.
That little spark from saying passing and not being and looking mopey and shit like that, man. Bro, you get paid $33 million a year. 10-game winning streak. You've been to a Super Bowl. You've been places that Justin Jefferson hasn't. You've been places that a lot of top receivers haven't even been. Back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons. Man, get out of here, man. and
Yeah.
we're on a 10-game winning streak. So I didn't like it. I just didn't like any. I know the BG comments, but AJ was the spark to it. That's my little rant about it. I hate the way it happened. I'm glad it worked out. I'm glad it worked out, but we could have had that could have also crippled this team going into the playoffs.
It definitely, I think it's something that if the passing, it needs to be discussed, and it should have been discussed in a team meeting, and something that they work on together.
Right.
More constructive than it was. My thing is, when you go back to the Saquon issue, is that I'm not sold on Kellen Moore as an offensive coordinator. I think I've already said his schemes are wonky, and I think that this team with this offense could be more explosive with the right coordinator. And I think that when you hand the ball off to Saquon in the teeth of the defense, that you're trusting the offensive line to always make up holes when they're got 8 men in the box, and the lack of screen game to him, lack of swing passes. I've seen almost every time they toss the ball to Saquon, toss back and let him run. He's out in open space, and he kills on those plays.
Right.
The plays he gets stuffed is the ones, and a lot of times he can break through them depending on the holes that he gets from the offensive line.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like a 50-50. So it's one of those things, like, and you're running him on first down, or you're running him on second and long when that's when you kind of should be. But a lot of times that they'll run him, and they don't even show their cards. There's no disguising what they're going to do. Like you said earlier, everybody knows it. Throw a screen in the mix. I was watching that whole Steelers game, and like, where is the swing passes? Where are the screen games? We've got a dangerous weapon, and I just kept wondering where that was. And I don't think that Kellen Moore is very as creative as people make him out to be. I think that when AJ and Jalen have succeeded, it's when they've gone no huddle,
Mm-hmm.
and they've caught teams flat-footed, and Jalen gets to improvise a little bit more because they're doing the RPOs. I think when they do this conventional offense, it just seems like it's very lackluster. It doesn't have any explosiveness to it. It looks very cookie cutter, and teams pick up on it really quickly.
Yeah.
So going into the rest of the season, I think Kellen Moore needs to address every play that he's called that has not functioned well,
Mm-hmm.
and rip them out of the playbook and start giving these guys plays that will work. So we'll see. That's the big thing I'm going to look at this game is, like you said, balance. And when they do pass, what does that look like? What are the plays? What are the design going to be like? So we'll see.
Yeah, man. Well said. I just think, it was just a lot of things that watching football for a long time, man. And you just spot inconsistencies, like our brains, our minds, our eyes are trained to spot inconsistencies. And I'm like, I've never seen a team win this much and have so much drama. Just never. Never. I hate the fact that, you even have our quarterback, Jalen, having to come to the press conference. Like, so that's what I wanted to see. Like, and then you got people saying, "Oh man, we didn't ask this question. That was AJ. That was AJ that started all this." Like, no, motherfucker, y'all been talking shit all year. That's how we gotten here. It's because no matter what the Eagles do, y'all nitpick. The 49ers won just like this last year at times. They had bad stretches where, I think they lost 3 straight games, like on an interception.
Mm-hmm.
But the media still has, hey, we still have faith in you guys and the Niners. And it's like, no matter what, there was this constant reassurance of, oh, you guys will be fine. Oh, you guys will be fine. No matter how the Eagles play, it's like they're going to find something. Had we been throwing it, they'd have been like, man, you have this all-pro running back on the verge of setting a record. Why don't you give the man the ball and see if he can say it doesn't matter. It does not matter, man. And I just hate that. Like, he has to even move. Most of the time when you see him, this is a winning quarterback. All he's done for the most part of his career is win. And you'll see him at the press conference. Like, the only time I've seen Jalen even smile during like an interview or press conference is when he was getting interviewed by Jason Kelsey.
Yeah.
That was it. That was like the last time I've seen him like feel comfortable, because he like, okay, which one of you motherfuckers got something smart to say today?
Mm-hmm.
And he just sits there. And I've never seen a quarterback have to have to do that, man. It's been so weird. It's been so weird in Philly, with just everything that's around him. Then even when he plays well, to my point, I don't know if you've seen the pretty privilege comment.
Oh yeah.
Now he has pretty privilege.
Yeah.
Now he's privileged.
Yeah.
So every week you doubt him. Every week you look at any show, they just print it because can Jalen win this week? Can Jalen win? It's like you sit down in your production meeting and they go, hey, do we have any our Jalen doubts in our cycle today? Do we have? It doesn't matter what happened. Now when he does win, how you going to sit down there? He has pretty privilege. It's like, bro, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Like, what are you talk about football? They talk about everything else, man. When I heard that shit, I was just like, that's because y'all make these inflammatory statements throughout the week. And when they're proven wrong, you don't say you're wrong. You just move it. You just move it to somewhere else and then move it and then move it. And then I've never seen it, man. In my life, I have never, ever seen anything like this. I've never seen a team win and everybody hates it.
I have seen it one other time. And it was 2017 when we lost Wentz and everybody went, well, this team's done. This team sucks. Foles came in and struggled a little bit in relief right after Wentz went out, but they still won. And going into that playoff, we're playing against Atlanta, and no one picked the Eagles to win that game against Atlanta. And
underdog every single game.
And no one had the Eagles back. And so to me, I'm like, bring it on. Because you can turn this into a positive as a team. That no one likes us, we don't care is a definite thing. Everybody's team of choice this year is the Detroit Lions, and I get it. They've never won anything. Let's jump on the bandwagon. Meanwhile, the Eagles are playing solid football. You want to overlook us, that's great. Keep doing it, because the last thing, I've said it before, last thing I want the Eagles to ever be is the media's darlings.
Oh yeah.
They take this personally.
I'm with you.
D. Slay takes this stuff personally, especially when B-Rob comes out and everybody's loving on, Jaden Daniels and the Commanders. And I think we're a better team. Sure. Of course you should think that. Doesn't mean you say it.
Right.
But you should think it.
Right.
But you shouldn't say it.
But he's the running back. He know he can get away with it. He doesn't have the ultimate responsibility.
Jordan Davis lands on him because that's the thing is these guys are if you do think that the Eagles aren't going to put that up on a bulletin board, that they're not going to talk about that. You're kidding yourself. That everybody knows you don't say anything going into a big game like this. Then Micah Parsons shooting his mouth off, get ready to go play golf, talking about like, I don't want the Eagles to have anything good. F the Eagles, And I'm like, dude, you're out of it. You're done. What do you even care?
Yeah, man, we're on everybody's mind.
Yeah, so it's like, bring it on. Bring it on. And let's just, and it riles me up. I know if it gets me upset, I know what it does to the players. And you want that kind of motivation you can turn into positive motivation. So bring it on. Let's see what happens. I want I don't want them to lose another game this year or in January. Let's go.
Yeah, man. Like I said, man. And I see that the biggest difference, and even with the 2017 team, is that Foles was an unknown. They talk about Jalen as if he hasn't been to the Super Bowl already. You would think like he's trying to win the conference for the first time. He's won the conference.
Right.
And normally that comes with a little bit of credit, is my point. They are speaking as if he has never been to the Super Bowl. And I mean, when I see stuff like that, it's like, wait a minute. They had the year last year, got it. But they've been to the playoffs every year as a permanent starter. They've been to the Super Bowl, but like I said, they speak as if the Eagles haven't even been to the Super Bowl. Yeah. That's the part that it's just some things I just don't get.
Jalen gets it much worse. Other quarterbacks have had the same. I think McNabb got it quite a bit. Foles, though, I will say this: he was not unknown.
You're right. I mean, he has played with us. You're right.
7 touchdowns in the game for the Eagles. Right. He was cast aside by Chip Kelly in favor of Sam Bradford, which was I couldn't believe it. We have a solid starter who throws 7 touchdowns in the game. Oh, I got to get my guy. And Bradford. So Foles went out there and was done. I mean, he's like, So for him, he was like the ultimate underdog at the time because
Yeah.
he was going fishing. He was retired. He
Yeah.
was done. And then Andy Reid blew up his phone to come be the backup at the Chiefs, which led to when Doug Peterson took over Philly to him bring him in as the
Crazy,
backup.
man.
And thank God how things work out
Crazy.
because, so he got no respect. When Wentz went out, Foles had been in the league for years, but it's like, oh boy. And I was one of them. But the funny thing is, I still remember that because I had a Foles jersey. I think after the 7 touchdowns, I'd gotten a Foles jersey. I'm like, all right, this is my guy. And then Chip gets rid of him. Another reason I had the dartboard with Chip's picture on it. But I had worn that Foles jersey in years. And when Wentz went out, I was so upset after that Rams game. And my wife looked at me. She goes, well, who's going to be their quarterback now? And I went, Nick Foles. And like that, Nick Foles. And then she looked at me. She went, you used to really like him. And I went,
yeah.
You know what? I did. And I put the jersey on every game after that, every Sunday. I got my Hurts on right now. Same thing. They want to pick on my boy. I'm going to wear the jersey and show my solidarity behind that guy. And, things didn't work out for him to where, he moved on. We had the whole thing with him and Wentz and somebody had to stay, somebody had to go. And he never really did much after the Eagles, but to the people of Philadelphia, he always will be the one.
I mean, they have a statue out there.
Yeah.
You want Philly? They have a statue.
Greatest place ever.
It took, I guess it was so fitting for the Eagles, that brotherly love, that blue collar city, to have a next guy up win them the Super Bowl. The most improbable thing we would have, backup comes what in Philly? Nah, Carson Wentz was balling, but we don't even know. And then we thought, okay, next year we're still okay. And then he gets the concussion. Is that the Clowney game? Was that like the very next year? The Alshon drop? Next year. No, the Alshon drop was next year.
That the concussion. The Alshon drop was the next year. He did go out that year. Foles came in. They had the double doink. The very next year, the double doink, and then they moved on to the divisional round against New Orleans, and were led 14-0. And then both Brandon Brooks and Lane Johnson went out in that game, and they never scored but 3 more points the rest of the game. And Alshon dropped the ball at the final drive. That was a rough
concussion. Was the very next? Was the third?
Yeah, third time. Yeah. So they were in the playoffs every single year. With those guys. It just a series of misadventures after the Super Bowl season that didn't work out. I think for Jalen, all I'll say is this: is even if he wins a Super Bowl, the haters are not going to completely go away. But if he wins a Super Bowl, like he really, really came close, and he got really not a lot of respect for that. I think he had 300 yards in the game, but the fumble is the difference. So a lot of people look at that. And I think that he wins the Super Bowl this year. And even if he only passes for like 250 and wins the Super Bowl and Saquon does 130 or whatever, I think that's when he gets on the Wheaties box. That's when you're going to see more, and they'll take it easy on him. Now, does Josh Allen deserve all the love, and he's never won a Super Bowl or even been to a Super Bowl? Probably only because of his prolific passing. I think that's what gets him there. But I don't get holding him in a really high regard till he wins the big game. Hell, Jim Kelly did all that. Jim Kelly was a hell of a passer, and the Bills couldn't win a freaking Super Bowl.
And had Thurman Thomas back there.
Yeah, had a great defense.
Man, there's a lot of
Andre
good
Reed.
Yeah. I think Jalen reminds me of a person that like when they get a nickname when they're younger, they make a mistake when they're younger, but it carries, and no matter what they've ever done, people still try to like bring them back to that point. It's almost like once he became like that low-hanging fruit, easy to pick on after the Bama benching. It's like people want to end the story right there because it fits their narrative. They don't want to talk about the SEC championship game the next year.
Right.
They don't want to talk about the when he goes to Oklahoma and finished second in the Heisman to one of the greatest seasons ever by Joe Burrow, of what it takes to beat him. When you look at who beat him, it's always the guy that's at the top. that done something unprecedented. Mahomes still had a really good Super Bowl and a bum ankle. They won 6 straight drives when they scored. 6 straight drives.
Yeah.
6 straight drives. If you take away, just like we could say, you take away the fumble 6, you take away just one drive where they stop them. One. One out of 6, maybe we win. We can't. 1 out of 6 drives in a row in a 4th and 2 punt. That's what I remember from the Super Bowl. I remember the fumble 6, no doubt, but I remember still being up 10 at halftime, even with all of that.
We knew how we felt about that defense, that soft zone coverage, which I was really worried about with Fangio coming in. When you see the real architect of that defense, it's a lot different than what these guys were trying to replicate, because it was too much bend but don't break, and they broke every time. And when the Eagles had a bad game that season, it was the defense that let them down. And it goes back to we've talked about it with Gannon just not being capable of running a solid defense that stopped anybody. And the Chiefs and teams that knew the Eagles' weaknesses licked their chops when they got to see they're going to play the Eagles. They knew exactly
100%.
what they were going to do against that defense, because it's so easy to find. It's like playing somebody on Madden, and you know they're just going to freaking run the same soft coverage all day long. You're going to run hooks. You're going to run underneath routes. You're going to dink and dunk them to death, and you're going to win the game. So I don't blame the Super Bowl loss on Jalen at all. It was, you don't throw for 300 yards and have a chance to win at the end of the game and have Bradbury commit a pass interference. I'm more upset about the pass interference that Bradbury didn't need to grab. I don't think he needed to grab that ball.
Juju of all people. Juju not going to outrun you like that. No. Oh yeah. No. And it was soft. I think they let everything go. I thought it also felt like such a letdown moment, because it felt like they let everything go up until that moment.
Yeah.
And you were like, and the ball was so poorly thrown and out of bounds. You just go, well, surely. Did he grab him? Sure.
Yeah.
But did they let that shit go all game? Hell yeah, man. But we could have done a lot more things. But we have another chance this year, man. The NFC, everybody in the NFC is beatable. All of them.
They're tougher than the AFC. I'll say that in my opinion, but they're all, I think there's no team that is a juggernaut in my eyes in either conference.
Right.
That everybody has got their weaknesses, and I think that it just depends on who exploits them the best. So I'm looking forward to Washington. 1:00 game for a change.
Yeah.
So let's get it on. I like the fact that there are all these Christmas and holiday games, unless they flex one of them. The Eagles are all scheduled to play on Sunday.
Yeah.
In 3 weeks. Don't mess up our schedule. Don't mess up their sleep and their rest. Let's just keep that to Sunday. And I think because they're playing Dallas and New York, you probably won't see those games flexed. So that would be great. Keep them all on Sunday.
Hey, hopefully we go to 13-2. Keep this thing moving, man. Hopefully I sneak out a win. I need everybody on.
Yep.
On Will's team to stub a toe. Just be a little late to the game. Miss the flight for me.
I hear you.
Just a little bit. Just
good
a
luck.
little bit.
Good
but
luck.
Yeah, man, we'll be back. Good, bad, or indifferent. We'll be back next week. See if your boy Tubby moves on to the finals.
Sounds good.
Oh man, you got anything else before we get out here?
That's it, dude. Let's go.
All right, man. Let's go. Go Birds. We are out of here. Gone.